We are back with our recap of season 2, episode 4 of Snowpiercer. If you've not already watched the episode, go back and watch it and then watch this video. It's me, Richard, and Dan. That's so professional, right? How professional is that?
Man, you're getting much better at this. For the 3 people that are out there, let us not ruin this episode for you.
I got some views.
Yeah, no, I know.
I knew this was going to be a good episode because there was, maybe it was done differently on American television, but there was yet another suicide advice before the episode.
I didn't get that. Funnily enough, I didn't get the suicide advice thing. I didn't even get that at the end. Yeah, so let's get into. We were just discussing a point before we got on air, and let's just quickly touch on that because it was a good talking point. So the very first thing I wrote down as I was going through this is let's compare Corona to Snowpiercer. So you're sitting in there with the 6 o'clock curfew every night, basically, just having to stay in. I have a little bit more freedom, but it's been snowing for the better part of 2 months, so I kind of feel like I'm in Snowpiercer. I mean, it's snowing again now. It's going to snow for 2 days here. Texas is shut down. So what would you prefer?
I would definitely prefer what we're experiencing now to Snowpiercer because it's so long, and it almost feels like, and we talk about this quite often, you've just got to get through these things sometimes. And, I know coronavirus is difficult at the moment, especially because it's been like a year now, but it almost reminds me of those people who try and compare it to like the war or something. Like, no, it's not as bad as the war.
We're experiencing our world war right now.
No, we're not. Like, no,
Yeah.
I don't want to see any op-eds in the New York Times about this. And this is our, this is our Black Death. No, like, that was much worse than this.
I would 100% agree with you. And the only just for viewers, just for a little bit of fun, the only thing I would say is that when you're watching something like Snowpiercer, it does kind of seem a little cool, right? Like I wouldn't really. Obviously, you get in that situation. Think being on a cruise ship for a really long time. Like I've been on one cruise ship. I hated it, but like looking at Snowpiercer,
because like everyone else was so much older than you.
And just horrible human beings. Like the
like floating Florida.
Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting. You talked about Snowpiercer being kind of cool. You know who it was cool for? Till. She got lucky in the episode. Good for Till.
Yeah. So she got lucky. But the one point I wrote down about Till is she the only person on Snowpiercer that they show on a regular basis with feelings? Because she had such a wide range of emotions. We've seen her cry. We've seen her angry. We've seen her happy. We've seen her get laid. We've seen her get laid with her old boo. And she just goes through this wide range of emotions. And we talked last episode
Good
about
use of boo there. I've never used boo in my life.
Well, you're not American, so you gotta represent the country that you're from. Also, I could have gone with a bow, but I didn't want to sound too condescending to those people that are watching. It's like, oh, look at this arrogant prick thinking that he can speak with a Europeanized accent. But she, I think we discussed how much we really liked her. And I think looking at this episode, one of the reasons why I really like her is because she's human. She might be the only human character that there actually is on the TV show, on the whole TV show. I mean, Leighton isn't. Leighton's stone face goes through, like, literally, I mean, like, whatever emotions he goes through, he doesn't show. Wilford's just a freak. Melanie is right along the lines of Leighton, where she goes through highs and lows, but she keeps a stone face about it.
But isn't it? All those people are in fairly important positions, not just in the show, but also on the train. And isn't it almost that to survive in an environment like that, you have to have that mask?
Yeah,
and maybe Till, as she's growing up and developing in responsibility, but also in character as well. Maybe it's maybe she just doesn't have that talent yet. Because somebody who was quite important in the episode this week was Audrey, and she seems to be very good at keeping that mask up.
Well, when you're a prostitute, you have to be very good at keeping your mask up at all times, Richard. You have to be able to
Oh, really? Right. Okay.
Literally, I have 1 page of notes and then 1 page of notes about Audrey.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly how, because I was like, I need to break this out. So first off, let's touch on something that's very important here. One, I never get a prediction right. Two, you seem to get all of your predictions right. So now I'm getting really annoyed by this. So I've taken my predictions very seriously for next episode.
Okay.
I've written down realistic things that I think can actually happen. I was 100% wrong about there being any sort of going back in time, although
Oh yeah, you mentioned.
there was just a minor bit of it, I think.
Well,
So,
there was the Wilford and Audrey.
right, exactly. Yeah. So let's get into that because that's the main theme of this episode, right? So we obviously find out now. We knew that she was the head of the night car and that she was called Miss Audrey. Like, we've known all of these things. She's been the head mistress. I didn't, I obviously putting two and two together, she probably could have known that in her previous life, before the freeze, she was a lady of the night, so to speak. However, I didn't realize how much so and what sort of dedication it was. She was Wilford's sort of personal, for 7 years, she said, taking trains everywhere, which is also a nice little insight into Wilford. I didn't realize that he had this big train industry. It's sort of like me as a 7-year-old playing with trains. He had this whole big train thing, and she traveled on trains with him. And she might be the only thing in this world that Wilford loves more than himself.
Is this setting up for some kind of betrayal, though? I can see